Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Divedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions on a daily basis to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of last segment. Consider the following statements about the National Population Register. It is a register of the usual residents of the country. A usual resident is defined as a person who has resided in a local area for the past 1 year. It will be conducted by the Office of the Registrar General of India under the Home Ministry. So, which of the statements given below is or are correct? 1 only, 1 and 3 only, 2 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3 only. The correct answer to this question is B, that is 1 and 3 only. The first and the third statements are correct. I hope you have answered it correctly in the comment segment. So, National Population Register is a list of usual residents of the country, not only the citizens. A usual resident of the country is one who has been residing in a local area for at least the last 6 months or intends to stay in a particular location for the next 6 months. It will be conducted by the Office of the Registrar General of India under the Home Ministry. So, before we begin with more explanation and more questions, so Drishti IAS has introduced its offline batch at the Jaipur branch, and admissions have begun from today. And if you want to know more about it, you can visit the Drishti IAS website, download the app, or refer to our YouTube channel. Right now it's only in Hindi, but soon we will begin with English too, right? And also I would like to make you aware of an integrated pen drive course which will help you with the holistic preparation for prelims as well as mains. If you want to know more about it, you can contact on the given number, right? So let's move on to our next question. Which of the following countries share a border with South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe? Select the correct answer using code given below. 1 and 3 only, 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer to this question is D, that is 1, 2 and 3. Moving on to the explanation. Recently, consignments of made in India vaccines have reached Algeria and South Africa as a part of the Vaccine Maitri campaign. Now, this campaign was launched on the 20th of January 2021 in a neighborhood first policy. According to this policy, the government of India is helping the countries such as Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, the Maldives, Seychelles, Brazil and even Myanmar to have vaccines available for their citizens, right? And South Africa is the African country that occupies the most southern part of Africa. It is bordered by Botswana, Mozambique, Namibia and Zimbabwe. South Africa has a coastline on both the South Atlantic Ocean in west and the Indian Ocean in the east. Now, Lesotho is a landlocked country within the border of South Africa. Eswatini, commonly known as Swaziland, it is also a landlocked country. Now, if you remember few days back, when the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, tweeted about a country named Eswatini, it was to the awe of many citizens of India that they did not know what country is it. So, Eswatini lies here. And in the year 2018, its name was changed to Eswatini, and before that it was known as Swaziland. So the King Maswati III changed its name by saying that it was very confusing with the word, with the nation Switzerland. And also, if we talk about Swaziland, this country is infested with diseases such as HIV/AIDS and tuberculosis as well. Alright, so moving on, let's talk about our next question. With reference to High Courts, consider the following statements. The institution of the High Court originated in India in 1862. The 7th Amendment Act of 1956 authorized the Parliament to establish a common High Court for 2 or more states. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer to this question is C, that is both 1 and 2, both the statements are correct. So the Prime Minister will address an event marking the Diamond Jubilee of the High Court of Gujarat on 6th February 2021. The institution of High Court originated in India in 1862 when the High Courts were set up at Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. In 1866, a fourth High Court was established at Allahabad. In the course of time, each province in British India came to have its own High Courts. Also, the Constitution of India provides for a High Court for each state, but the 7th Amendment Act of 1956 authorized the Parliament to establish a common High Court for 2 or more states or for 2 or more states and a union territory. So if we want to remember this particular point, you can remember it by the 7th Amendment Act of 1956. Now, under this amendment, states were divided on the basis of linguism. That means states were divided on the basis of languages. And after that only, the reorganization of states also reorganized the judiciary institutions. Alright, moving on. Let's talk about our next question. Which of the following airports has been identified under the Udan scheme? Jorhat, Leelabadi, Tezpur, Rupsi. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 and 2 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3 only, 1, 2, 3 and 4. The correct answer to this question is D, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. All the airports have been identified as the part of Udan scheme. Moving on to the explanation. Recently, the following routes have been identified in Assam under the first phase of Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik, Jorhat, Leelabadi, Tezpur and Rupsi. Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. This scheme was launched as a regional connectivity scheme under the Ministry of Civil Aviation in 2016. It is an innovative scheme to develop the regional aviation market. The objective of the scheme is to create affordable yet economically viable and profitable flights on regional routes so that flying becomes affordable to the common man even in small towns. Broad salient features of the Udan scheme are mentioned as demand-driven, affordability of airfare, viability gap funding to selected airline operators, minimum performance level of Udan flights by the SAOs, exclusivity of operation on Udan routes, focus on priority areas, that is northeastern region, hilly states and islands as well. Moving on to the first question, consider the following statements. 1/3 of Rajya Sabha members retire every second year. The retiring members of Rajya Sabha are eligible for re-election and re-nomination any number of times. So which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer to this question is C, that is both 1 and 2, both the statements are correct. Moving on, by-elections to 3 Rajya Sabha seats, 2 from Gujarat and 1 from Assam, would be held on March 1st as per the Election Commission notification. The Rajya Sabha, which was first constituted in 1952, is a continuing chamber. That means it's a permanent body and not subject to dissolution. However, 1/3 of its members retire every second year. Their seats are filled up by fresh elections and presidential nominations as well at the beginning of every 3rd year. The retiring members are eligible for re-election and re-nomination any number of times. The Constitution has not fixed the term of office of members of the Rajya Sabha and it has left it to the Parliament. Accordingly, the Parliament and the Representation of People Act provided that the term of office of a member of the Rajya Sabha shall be 6 years. Consider the following statements. The QR code is a 3-dimensional version of the barcode. The hidden information can be read by an imaging device such as camera, and the required data is then extracted from patterns that are present in the code. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer to this question is B, that is 2 only. Only the second statement is correct. The QR code is a 2-dimensional version of the barcode, that is QR stands for quick response, which refers to the instant access to the information hidden in the code. If we talk about its working, it consists of black squares arranged in a square grid on a white background. Up to 7,089 digits or 4,296 characters can be entered into one code. The hidden information can be read by an imaging device such as camera, and the required data is then extracted from patterns that are present in the code. If we talk about its application, it was first designed in 1994 for the automotive industry in Japan. Now it is widely used to get to websites more quickly. Key applications are product tracking, item identification, general marketing, etc. Moving on to the next question, let's talk about Abraham Accord that was recently seen in the news is signed between which of the following countries? Israel and UK, UAE and Saudi Arabia, Israel and UAE, Saudi Arabia and Iran. The correct answer to this question is option C, that is Israel and UAE. So, the Abraham Accords between Israel and United Arab Emirates and Bahrain was mediated by the USA. Now, this question has been asked in light of Kosovo establishing diplomatic relationship with Israel. Now, as according to Kosovo, Israel is the 117th country to recognize its existence. And if we talk about the Abraham Accords, this accord has been mediated by the US because of the West Asia policy of US. Now, under that, these countries are now showing, the countries of Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, are showing that they are dehyphenating their relationship with respect to Palestine. Alright, so it is the first Arab-Israeli peace deal in 26 years, and as per the agreements, the UAE and Bahrain will establish embassies and also exchange ambassadors, working together with Israel across a range of sectors including tourism, trade, healthcare and securities as well. So, next question says, which of the following programs are functions under the International Atomic Energy Agency? Human Health Program, Water Availability Enhancement Project, International Project on Innovative Nuclear Reactors and Fuel Cycles of 2000. Select the correct answer using the following codes: 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer to this question is D, that is 1, 2 and 3. So, IAEA, it was set up as the World's Atoms for Peace Organization in 1957 with the United Nations family, and it reports to both the United Nations General Assembly as well as Security Council. It seeks to promote the peaceful use of nuclear energy and to inhibit its uses for any military purpose, including nuclear weapons. If we talk about its programs, it has programs such as Program of Action for Cancer Therapy, Human Health Program, Water Availability Enhancement Project, International Project on Innovative Nuclear Reactors and Fuel Cycles of 2000. Moving on to the next question, consider the following statements with reference to Atal Bimit Vyakti Kalyan Yojana. It is a welfare measure being implemented by the Employees State Insurance Corporation. It offers cash compensation to insured persons when they are rendered unemployed. The payment of relief has been enhanced to 30% of average wages payable up to maximum 90 days of unemployment. So, which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer to this question is A, that is 1 and 2 only, the first and the second. These two statements are correct. Moving on to the explanation, Employees State Insurance Corporation has decided that in cases where the employer has shown zero contribution in respect of an employee for some months before exiting him from the system, the relief under ABVKY for such period of zero contribution shall also be allowed. ABVKY, it's a welfare measure being implemented by the Employee State Insurance Corporation, and it offers cash compensation to insured persons when they are rendered unemployed. The scheme was introduced in 2018 and the payment of relief has been enhanced to 50% of average wages from earlier 25% of average wages payable to up to maximum 90 days of unemployment. Instead of the relief becoming payable 90 days after unemployment, It shall become due for payment after 30 days. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements with reference to Orobanche. They are aggressive root parasitic weeds that attack strategic food crops and threaten the livelihood of many nations. There are no absolute control measures developed for it. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. The correct answer to this question is C, that is both one and two. So Orobanche is a hidden parasitic weed in mustard causing severe yield loss to the extent of up to 50%, also called broom rapes. They are aggressive root parasitic weeds which attack strategic food crops such as legumes, vegetables and threaten the livelihood of many nations, and there are no absolute control measures developed for it. Workshop held on techno management options to control Orobanche in mustard. Alright. Moving on to the next question, the term neural network frequently seen in the news is associated with networking between cells based on their mRNA, a process that mimics the way the human brain operates, a point-to-point network for urgent assistance in cybercrime matters, a network of disengaged computer clouds. So, the correct answer to this question seems to be B, a process that mimics the way the human brain operates. Neural network, of course, from the name you can see it. A neural network is a series of algorithms that endeavors to recognize underlying relationships in a set of data through a process that mimics the way the human brain operates. In this sense, neural networks refer to systems of neurons, either organic or artificial in nature. Neural networks can adapt to changing input. So, the network generates the best possible result without needing to redesign the output criteria. The concept of neural networks, which has its roots in artificial intelligence, is swiftly gaining popularity in the development of trading systems. And let's move on to the practice question for our next segment. Consider the following statements with reference to Defense Technologies and Trade Initiative. It is a treaty signed between India and US that engages both the government as partners to strengthen the opportunities in the field of defense. Its central aims include strengthening India's defense industrial base, exploring new areas of technological development, and expanding US-India business ties. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. So I hope you'll be able to answer it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.